Recirculated.
How's it, y'all? Welcome to today's video. So I decided that I wanted to make a video over my 4Runner, and what better way of doing that than to do 5 things I like, 5 things I hate. Video series is going to start off with this car, which started my channel actually. This thing has been through a lot and keeps pushing, and this thing has not let me down as of yet, and I don't think it's going to let me down for a while. So I will be keeping this car forever, which I'm excited about. We'll talk about it and discuss 5 things I love and 5 things I hate, which honestly, the 5 things I love you don't find in any other trucks or SUV, and the 5 things I hate are very particular to this model, which this is a 1994 Toyota 4Runner, and it is, well, it has a motor out of a 93, so it's the 3.0, as you guys will see right now. I guess I can show you that, no problem at all. So let's turn this engine off so I can actually talk and not have it be interrupted real quick. So like I was saying, this is a 3.0, which it's a great motor. Well, actually, that's not a lie. It's one of the worst motors Toyota ever came out with, but more on that later. Let's first start with the 5 things that I love about this truck, SUV, whatever you want to call it. Comment down below what you would call it. I'd call it a truck because it's basically a truck, but let me know down in the comments what you guys prefer to call it, or what you guys think it should be called. But anyways, so first thing that I love about this particular car is that it is a 5-speed 4-wheel drive. So this has the R151F, did come in all of the 3.0 4-wheel drives, and that ranged from the 2nd gen 4Runner all the way up to the 3rd gen 4Runner. So there's a lot of these rigs out there. However, the manual transmission R151F is one of the harder transmissions to find. So with this R151 transmission, that I absolutely love too, is this shifter. So I actually have a LCE short shifter for the 3VZ 4-wheel drive, which if you want to, I'll put a link up here to one of these corners of the video of me installing this installing the short shifter, because it was one of my first mods to this car. And to be honest with you, I told myself that I was not going to do any engine modifications, keep it completely stock, because I knew that I was going to switch it out to the more powerful 3.4. However, I told myself I need something that's driver feel, so I went ahead and installed the LCE short shifter, which honestly completely changed the feel of this car, and I'll show you guys right now. So that's first, literally that. Second, third, fourth, fifth, that's 5th right there. Like, that is insane. And then obviously you have reverse over here. No more do you have to go all the way over here for 5th. 5th is literally right there, because I think 5th without the short shifter is like right here, and it's just, it like, I could literally shift it without flicking the wrist. Like, it is amazing. This right here is one of the best, if not the best, modifications I've done to this truck, and I love the fact that the shifting is so nice and easy. And even though it is sloppy because the bushings are pretty much shot, it doesn't have that much play in neutral. Then again, I mean, this truck has almost 200,000 miles on it, so it's just one of those things where this transmission needs to be rebuilt, but we will be doing that in the future video. So yeah, it's going to be one of those things where this truck is going to be super nice. For what it is, it's a very solid unit. One thing I love about this truck is that it is super capable. 4-wheel drive is awesome. I personally love it so much. I love driving this thing. Anyone can drive this car. Even if you don't know how to drive stick shift, the R151F is very forgiving, I'd say, and it makes for a really smooth drive. When I first got this car till now, it's been nothing but great. I put a stock OEM clutch in when I first got this, which for those of you that don't know, that are new to my channel, which a lot of you are, I actually bought this back in, I believe it was 2017, 2018, around there. I have a post on my Instagram, actually. If you guys haven't followed me already, go ahead and do that. But I have a post of basically the month that I got it in, and ever since, this car has been amazing, and I have no regrets on buying it. I actually was looking for a car that was relatively inexpensive, didn't run. That was the key thing, is that it didn't run, so that I could fix it, because I had freshly just gotten out of trade school. So I wanted something that in my eyes I could work on, get running, and like know that I can work on cars. And you know, because obviously everyone drives cars, and I didn't want to start working on other people's cars without knowing that I could, you know, take on such a big project and get the project running, driving, and dailyable with my own skill set, which I learned a lot through this. This car it definitely showed me things I never knew I could do, and it also taught me a lot of life lessons, which was awesome, which I'll never be able to forget, and I appreciate it very much for giving me those harsh life lessons, which, you know, it's just one of the things when you go through life. So the thing number 2 that I love about this truck is it literally is a truck. So you can put this window down right here, and as you can see, it's full, which is, I'll get into that later. But I love the fact that if you push this all the way down, which I have to, oh sheesh, come on. Oh, there we go. There we go. So if you push the window all the way down, which usually you go through the lock to push it all the way down, however, mine's not working right now, so that's going to be in a future video fixing that, because I'm still trying to figure out how to fix that. It's going to be one of those things where once I fix it, you guys will know. But the thing I love about this is that it literally comes down. So usually this isn't all exposed. Usually there's a cover which is in there somewhere, but the thing I love about this right here is it's literally a truck. Like, you could literally back this car up to whatever spot you want to do, and it's a tailgate, so you can, you know, you can sit on this thing comfortably, have, you know, all your, you know, music blasting, and have access to your whole back of your cab without having one of those annoying trunks that go up, which they started in the 3rd gen, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like that this can pull down like a tailgate, which is amazing. This, I can't tell you how many times this has kind of saved me, because this is my parts car. So, and that's also something I love, but we'll get into that later. But because it's my parts car, I love the fact that I can pull up anywhere, drop the tailgate, and just have people put stuff in. I've had, well, all the engines that I've gotten on my channel, this thing has hauled them, and transmissions too. And yes, it is pretty destroyed, because, well, when I was working on this car originally, I had all of the things, all my tools, all of the engine components that came out of this car in the back of this car. So it did come with carpet. It was super nice when I first got it, but unfortunately, just one of those things, when you start working on cars, you have to have a place to put everything. So this was the place that I put everything. So the floor is kind of trash. However, I like that, to be honest with you. It's one of my favorite things about it, because now I can put whatever I want in it, and it's a really good space. So I guess that's the 3rd thing I love, is how much space that I have in this rig, truck, SUV, whatever you want to call it, right? So I just love the space that I have. You can put the seats down, so really you get about, I want to say, that's probably about 6.5 to 7 feet roughly. You get a lot of space back here, which is awesome. And obviously, as you can see, we're utilizing this for a camping trip we're going on this next week. The places that this thing can go, Toyota Let's Go places, is unmatched. This thing is amazing. I can go through brush with it. I haven't gone off-roading like extremely hard yet with this. I still have to do a bunch of upgrades to it. However, I can't knowingly do these upgrades on this, like a lift kit, all those kind of things, until I get my other things, my other projects done. But hence why we are doing this video, because I thought maybe before I go balls to the wall with all the upgrades I'm going to do, I can at least show you guys how it started and all the things that I, you know, love and hate, hence this video. So all the space is amazing, and the fact that I can go anywhere I want to with this is pretty much the fourth thing that I love about this truck, is the capability of it. You can go anywhere you want with it. Really the only thing that stops you is how terrible the motor is, which is why we are going to get into that later. But it's the only downfall of it that I feel about this truck. So, and then the other thing I love, to be honest with you guys, is, and this is the fifth thing, is the IFS. So a lot of people don't like the independent front suspension, but to be honest with you, I do, because for me, I feel like SAS is great, the solid axle swap, but for me, you know, being different is the one thing that I love to do. And a lot of people do SAS, but for me, a IFS, and building this truck as an IFS truck is going to be really what sets me apart from everyone else. I will probably curse myself in the long run for it, but honestly, I'm committed, fully committed to staying IFS. And the actual IFS has saved me a little bit, because just going over rough terrain, one side of the car can kind of be independent from the other, so I don't have to be, you know, kind of rocking back and forth. One side can go up on the front and the other side stays planted. So that is an amazing thing for me, to be honest with you. But so those are the 5 things that I love about this 4Runner. And if you guys have any things that you love, drop down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys love about these rigs. And then yeah, so we'll go now into the 5 things I hate about this rig. And the first and foremost, like I said before, this engine. So this engine is a 3VZ. It's a 3.0. It is probably, if not one of the worst V6s. It is the worst V6 Toyota ever made. However, it is the first V6 Toyota ever made, from my knowledge. And all of these second gens got the 3.0. And well, if you think about it, second gens only ran from 90 to 95, and the actual second half of 95 got rid of the 3.0 and put the 3.4 into the third gen. So they didn't even have a full year of 95. They only had 4.5 years of the 3.0, and that's for a good reason, because in that time period, they knew that the 3.0 was not going to last. So instead of trying to come out with a facelift with the same 3.0, they went to 3.4, which 3.4 and 3.0 is exactly the same, give or take some things. Obviously, the size of the motor is a little bit bigger, and it does have waste spark instead of the spark plugs. So the distributor is still there on the 3.4, but the spark plugs go one way and then the ignition coils are on the other side. And to be honest with you, I personally feel like the 3.4 is a lot easier to service than the 3.0, but it's a direct swap, and there's so many people that have done that. That's why I'm doing it, because you get so much more power, and the 3.4 is so much easier to tune. And that's kind of the reason why there's so much aftermarket support for the third gen and not the second gen, because that's also one thing I hate about this car, is there's no aftermarket support. Like, you can't find anything. You can find lift kits, and you can kind of have to finagle around with the things that you buy aftermarket for these, because basically you have to pretty much go second gen pickup. So the Toyota pickups, which is obviously the truck version of this, they have more, like, they have the aftermarket support, and honestly the chassis are are obviously the same. The only differences that I know of are the body mounts, but the lift kit's very similar, and a lot of things were similar for the pickup. So a lot of people go and get the pickup modifications for the lift kits, all those kind of things for their second gens. So I've been learning a lot about those things, and I've been trying to, I've actually fully built this rig in my head. But that is the second thing I hate, is there's no aftermarket support for these vehicles. The third thing I hate, I feel like I have a lot of things that I hate about this truck, but it's just because I've had it for so long, so I know the gripes, like the goods and the bads, basically, of what this car has, and through my experience only. But the third thing I hate about this truck is the CV axles. So if you can see, you probably won't be able to, but there we go. So as you can see, the CV axles are actually bolted in to each hub underneath here. So you could, yeah, you can definitely see it through there. So this is the front diff, obviously, and then the CV axles down in there have bolts. And the one thing I can't stand about this car is trying to replace the front CV axles is a complete nightmare. I actually replaced them when I first got the car, because there was basically one of the CV axles were ripped and destroyed, and grease was going everywhere, and I could hear a worse clank than what you hear like currently. I don't know if you guys heard it when the video first started, but this car does clank a lot just because the ball joints and everything are super old, which I'm planning on completely restoring all the ball joints, everything on this as soon as, you know, those series start coming out, which once the engine's out, I'll have a lot more way of getting to all of those suspension parts. We're getting new wheels, tire package on this, so this thing's going to be a complete rig, and I cannot wait to have a lot more fun with it. The CV axles is definitely the thing I cannot stand about this, because it takes way too long, and the actual CV axles for the third gen are slip-in, so they don't have any bolts. It's basically the same thing as like doing CV axles on a front-wheel drive. You just pull on them and they slip out of the front diff, and then it's basically you pull it out of the wheel hub. So the CV axles on the third gen are so much easier. So basically the second gen was pretty much just like like a guinea pig almost, if you will, like a test for Toyota to see, you know, what worked and what didn't, and then they fixed everything in the third gen. Which, fun fact, the third gen, the Toyota Tundra brakes do fit up to the hub. On this one, no dice, but thankfully we did get a 4-pot brake system, which you definitely can't see. You can see the caliper kind of in there, but yeah, you definitely can't see it back there, unfortunately. But just trust me when I say there is some meaty brakes on this thing, which thankfully, you know, once you swap the 3.4 into these second gens, the braking system, you have no problem with it, because they're very, very beefy and they have a lot of power. So at least Toyota was thinking forward when they put the brake system on this. So I believe we are on the 5th thing I hate about this truck, and that is the, well, it's related to the engine, but that is the miles per gallon. So this thing, I have literally counted the miles from full to complete empty, 280 miles to a full tank. So you're getting what, I don't even know what that would be on miles per gallon, but I think that's maybe 12 to 14. I'm not entirely sure on that, but it's bad. It is extremely bad, and that's why the 3.4 comes in, and it gives you a lot more miles per gallon, gives you a lot more power. So that's kind of the biggest reason why a lot of people will swap that engine in to this vehicle, and everything is plug and play. You don't have to do anything. Well, you have to do very minor changes or part swaps from the 3.0 to the 3.4, which is why this engine is, you know, staying, so I can swap all the parts that I need to from the 3.4 with this motor to the 3.4, so that everything goes in nice and smoothly. But Guys, this engine, or this rig is almost, yeah, it's 30 years old now. I think it's like 31 because it was a 94. So actually it's 30 years old. Yeah, it is 30 years old because it is a 1994, January of 94. That's the date of this. So yeah, no, it's 30 years old already. It is actually well into its 30 year. So it's dirty 30, bro. This thing is dirty 30. This thing turned 30 before I did, but it's still kicking. It's in its prime, and I'm so glad I picked this thing up, because this car, for me, when I picked it up, I knew it was going to be a car for parts that I could go drive around, not really care what I did to it, go off-roading, because I still want it to look nice. I still want it to be able to, you know, kind of, when you see it, know it's a car with a purpose. Its purpose is to, you know, go where other rigs can't go, and get stuck and get out of its own messes, and just be an all-around just sick, good rig. And honestly, it's been that for me, and I love that, and I can't wait to take you guys on more adventures with this car. Which, the cool thing about this swap though is that all of this right here will be gone, and I'm going to be cleaning this thing. I'm going to be restoring it. I'm going to be making it look brand new, or as close to new as possible. I am planning on upgrading the look of it, so this bash bar is going to be going away. This thing's been a freaking unit though since I've owned it, but I will be going to a complete front bumper look, just so I can make sure all of this gets protected, and then I will be doing a rock slider protection on the sides, and then as well as a rear bumper. I am going to keep the swing out though, because this is a Toyota genuine swing out, which I completely love. I have a whole video installing this thing on the rig, which this thing is part of the car already, which is really funny, because if you guys watch that video, you guys will see that this right here, I actually backed this side into a pole in a parking garage in Las Vegas, and that's why this is how it is. Unfortunately, all of this right here is from the day I installed it. I installed it without using time certs, and yeah, that it fell on the road and got a little bit of road rash. So at least the tire swing looks very close to everything else, which is nice. And then this tailgate actually came from the 4Runner that I took the tire swing out. So the thing I love about this car is, if I haven't hit the fifth, this is going to be the fifth. Thing I love about these is that everything is compatible, no matter what trim on the second gen 4Runners are. Like, for example, the fact that this tire swing out with this tire swing out tailgate matches the same, which obviously doesn't match the color, but we'll not look at that. I'm planning on, you know, repainting this whole thing a really cool color, and completely going away with this two-tone, as well as going away with this tow hitch, because I'm not going to be towing with this car at all. I'm going to be making it clearance enough so I can go on whatever adventures I want to go on. If I do want to go, you know, fish, go out into the wilderness with this car, I definitely can. And hopefully the 3.4 liter, when I swap it, will give me the confidence I need to be able to go into the wilderness and not be, you know, completely like worried about gas and have to bring more gas jugs with me, because that is one of the things I can't stand. I kind of already covered, but I'll go more into it. Is that this thing, I have no idea how I was dailying this thing for 5 years, because this thing is a gas guzzler. It doesn't like fuel economy. It's not fuel economy, and this thing is not your friend. This thing is miles per mile through and through, and I just love how this thing has handled everything I've thrown at it. I'm gonna be doing a lot more. This is just the beginning of this build. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. What is your favorite generation of 4Runner? I'm obviously a Yoda boy for life, and back home in Hawaii, everyone has a 4Runner, third gen or second gen, and it's kind of one of those things where whenever I'm driving around this thing, I feel like I'm back home cruising the east side of Oahu, going to Makapu'u. But here in the mainland, in Nevada, this thing is awesome. So I can go up to any lake I want to and really just have the best time ever. Fun fact though, since I've gotten this car, I have not gotten alignment, so I can just see, because I haven't actually had the time to look at the car straight on and like have the time to actually walk around it, but my alignment's all off. Yeah, my toe is out super bad. But the thing I love about this car too is you don't feel any of that. You don't feel any of the bumps in the road. It's super smooth. I actually took this truck down and got another engine for this SC drift car, and this thing handles like a champ. I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully I will be doing more videos like this in the future with all the other cars I get, as well as upgrading all of this the components on this car, because this thing needs the love that I haven't shown it, but we will definitely do that. So if you guys want to continue watching the progress I do on this 4Runner, definitely subscribe down below, join the Shaka Squad. Never forget, always stay positive and stay true to who you are. Until next episode, guys, I'll see you guys then. Until then, shoots.
Search everywhere.